Okay, well, welcome to your twist and transitions yoga flow. You're not going to need much today for our practice. I'm actually just sitting up on a blanket because we're going to start with some pranayama. Have some blocks that might be really helpful. An option for an inversion at the wall, but I've got other options for you if that doesn't work. So just you and your mat, and we'll keep it nice and simple today. So as you start to land onto your mat, take a moment just to come into your breath, maybe even closing the eyes if your space feels safe to do so. And just take a couple rounds of deep breath just to transition from your day to your mat. Our physical focus today is going to be on the side body and a little bit of spinal decompression. So really nourishing to the entire body, but specifically those areas. But what I'd like to find for our practice today is really a breath-centered practice. So kind of getting out of our heads and into our bodies to really let go of whatever stress and anxieties life might be weighing on us and to just really embody this present moment. We're going to begin with a single nostril Kapalabhati breath. So if you're new to Kapalabhati, it's just kind of a sharp exhale through the nostril. Imagine if you're trying to get a gnat out of your nose. At the same time, simultaneously, the navel is drawing in towards the spine. But we're going to do this closing off one nostril. If you have any sinus issues or anything, feel free to not close off one nostril and just do it through both. But we'll do a round on one side and then a round on the other. So go ahead and take your thumb and close off your left nostril completely if that feels comfortable for you. And we'll take a nice deep inhale through the right nostril. And then begin your Kapalabhati breathing. So keep going with that breath. The inhale will happen naturally, so don't worry about the in-breath. But think of that sharp exhale through the right nostril, again, as if you're trying to get a gnat out of your nose. And your navel is drawing in towards the spine like a pump, pumping through the diaphragm to get the breath out through the nose. And take 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale it all out. Release the left nostril. Take a nice deep inhale. And let it all go. Exhale. And now we'll do the same by closing off the right nostril. So using perhaps your pinky finger to close off the right nostril. Take a nice deep breath in through the left. And then begin your Kapalabhati. And take 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Exhale it all out. Release the hand. Take a nice big in-breath. And exhale. Then let your breath return to its more natural rhythm. And we'll transition into an ujjayi breath for our practice. So just think inhale and exhale through the nose. It can be an equal parts breath if that feels really comfortable for you, or feel free to maybe linger a little longer on the exhale. But let this be the main factor of our movement today. So we're not going to focus on alignment, but really just letting the breath move the body. And then if you were sitting on a blanket, go ahead and set that off towards the side. And meet me in a downward facing dog after I put my cat over here. Now you can feel free to use blocks if you like, but we are going to be moving from the front to the back of the mat. So it might be more helpful just to practice on the floor if that feels okay in your body. In your down dog, take any movement that feels really authentic or organic, maybe pedaling out the feet, maybe even starting to come into some twists and some side body release. We're going to start with just 4 really easy asana shapes and stay there and just really focus on how it feels in the body. So whenever you come back into stillness in your down dog, we're going to step the right foot forward in between the hands and then lower your left foot so you have this heel to arch alignment. And as you windmill up, we're going to come right into reverse warrior. So letting the left hand find the thigh, right arm reaching up. But since we're finding an emphasis on the side body, maybe even round more towards the back of your space so your right ribs feel like an accordion being spread out and stretching through all the intercostals. Now pivot your feet just slightly towards the left so you can come into a skater towards the left side of the mat. So turning the left toes out a little bit more towards the diagonal and leaning your weight towards that left side. Continue to follow that direction as you are now facing the back of your mat. Let your right knee lower towards the floor. You can keep the hands down or reach them up as you come into a low lunge. And then releasing the hands towards the floor, powerful through your left leg. Float your right leg up into any variation of standing splits. We're just going to come through that on the other side. So slowly let your right toes find the floor. Turn your right toes to the long edge of your mat. Cartwheel the arms into that reverse warrior, with that emphasis of stretching through the left side body. Pivot the feet so you can come into skater towards the right. Transitioning, lowering that left knee so you're back to the front of your mat, coming into your low lunge. And then that standing splits. Now we're just going to keep flowing between those 4. So bending the right knee, let your left foot find the floor. Reverse warrior. Side body release. Into your skater. Let your breath guide your movement. Back of the mat, low lunge variation. Hands up or down. Make it your own standing splits. Notice how the movement feels within the body as you flow back into reverse warrior. Into your skater. Into your low lunge, back to facing the front of your mat. Into your standing splits. Now stay with those 4 and do 2 more rounds on your own, at your own pace, with your own breath. And rather than just trying to memorize the flow, let it feel really organic, really good throughout the body, and moving in any way that feels really nourishing to the soul. Maybe even 1 breath for each movement, or lingering in the breath if that feels better. Go ahead and take 1 more round on your own. Just transitioning through each of these different asanas. And then the next time, go ahead and step back to down dog. The next time you're facing the front of your space, and take a couple of breaths here. And if you'd like a little relief, you can also always come into a child's pose variation if that feels more inviting. We're going to add on just a little bit to that flow. So come back through to your downward facing dog. This time, let's step the left foot forward first. So we'll be facing the opposite long edge of the mat. Come into your reverse warrior. Skater to the back of the mat. Coming into that low lunge facing the back of your space. Into your standing splits. Now this time we're going to come right into crescent. So as the left toes find the floor, inhale, lift the body up, crescent. Bringing the hands through prayer pose, coming into a twisted or revolved crescent. So bringing that left arm anywhere to the right leg that feels good for you. And then unravel the body into your reverse warrior. Skater towards the front of your space. Into your low lunge variation. Using your next breath to pull you forward up into your standing splits. Next breath to come into your crescent lunge. And then your revolved crescent. Opening and expanding the body into reverse warrior. Skater lunge. To the back of your mat. Low lunge. Standing splits. Staying to the back of your space, lowering the left toes, crescent lunge. Revolved crescent. Unraveling the body. Reverse warrior. Skater to the front. Low lunge. And then stand splits. Crescent. And revolved crescent. Again, 2 more times at your own pace, just adding on those 2 more asanas. Flowing from the front to the back of your space. Really focusing on the breath, the transitions, and the twists with the side body. And just let go of the memorization and just let the body flow now that the muscle memory is there. Staying anchored in the breath. Let's float 1 more time. Finishing the sequence, coming back to the front of your space. And then releasing the hands, stepping the left foot back to meet the right foot, downward facing dog or child's pose. Take a deep breath here. Now we're going to get in a little bit more into some twists and some transitions. So we'll move really slowly. When you're ready, we're going to come back to that standing splits with the right foot forward. So if you're in child's pose, go ahead and let's come into downward facing dog. Step your right foot next to your right thumb, and then float your left leg into the air. Now bend your right knee generously and bring your left knee in behind your right calf. You're going to reach back with your right hand to grab your left foot. And maybe this is where you stay, or maybe you start to bend the right knee more and extend your left leg over towards the right long edge of your mat. Take a couple of breaths. Now we're going to transition to a seated twist. So if your hips are not super close to the floor, like mine are not, let go of the foot bind. Set the outside of your left foot onto the floor. And then use that to come all the way down to have a seat. So the right ankle is still crossed over the left leg. Hug the right leg anywhere that feels okay and come into a seated twist. From here, we're going to stay and take a couple of deep breaths. Slowly come out of your twist. You're going to unravel the right leg. Take your left hand towards the back of your mat or behind you towards the back long left edge. You're going to press the right foot, press the left foot, lift the hips. Now slowly unravel back down towards the floor. We're going to sweep this left leg underneath of us, coming back to standing split. So sweep it under the right. Start to hinge forward. Bend that right knee generously until you can lift your left leg up back behind you in your standing splits variation. Bend your right knee generously again. This time, instead of grabbing the foot, go ahead and extend your left foot all the way over towards the back of your space or the short edge of your mat. And let the foot come towards the floor, or the pinky edge of the foot to the floor. Maybe even feeling a nice release through the outside or the side of your right hip. Now we're just going to unravel the body. So start to turn away. So you're going to be facing the opposite long edge of the mat into a standing forward fold. Take a couple of breaths here. You can take any arm variation that feels good, maybe grabbing elbows, keeping the hands on the floor. You can reach the hands to the opposite line, reaching underneath the body, whatever feels really good for you. Now we're going to twist and turn to face back towards the opposite long edge into Gomukhasana. So don't overthink this. Keep the feet exactly where they are, but start to walk your hands over towards the left foot. Once you're over towards the left, come onto the balls of the feet. Start to turn your toes to the back of the mat. Keep twisting, keep twisting, keep twisting till your toes, knees are facing the front and you land knees somewhat stacked on each other. From here, you can take any Gomukhasana variation that feels good. You can fold forward, you can stay upright, or you can even come into a twist over that left leg. And take a couple of deep breaths here. And if you came into the twist, slowly unravel. And we're just going to go back the way we came. So bring the hands behind you, push through the pinky toe edges of the feet to lift the hips, and then unravel, unravel, unravel until you're facing the back long edge and you're back in your wide-legged fold. And take a couple of breaths here, Just gently decompressing the spine. And we're going to do that whole thing on the other side. So from here, just ball heel step your feet so they're underneath of the hips. Keep facing the way we are. We're going to keep turning it around. And this time come into standing splits with your right foot back. So the left foot stays grounded, right foot lifts up. From here, bend your left knee generously. Start to bring your right knee towards your left calf. Maybe the left hand grabs the right foot, and maybe you start to extend it out towards the side, any amount. My body is a little bit on the tighter side, so I can't get it very straight, but maybe you straighten that right leg. Maybe you get your hips really close to the floor. If your hips are far away from the floor like mine are, let go of the foot bind and use the hands to support you to come down to have a seat. And we'll come into that seated twist. So this time, grabbing the left knee and coming into your seated twist over the left side. And take a couple of breaths here. Come out of your twist gently. Take this left ankle over that right leg so the legs are no longer crisscross. You're going to take your right hand behind you, fingertips facing back, and then press through the left foot, press through the right hand, the right foot as you lift the hips. And then slowly lower it down. We're going to sweep the right leg back into the standing split. So go ahead and bring the right leg behind the left. You're going to start to hinge forward, hands to the floor, and then lift yourself up. Right leg extends back behind you, standing splits. I'm running out of space, so I'm just going to scooch over a little bit, but you can stay exactly where you are. And we're going to come into that stretch. So bend your left knee generously again. Bring your right leg in. Flex the foot. Extend your right leg over towards the left side as much as you can, and then let the pinky edge of the foot find the floor. And take a couple of deep breaths here. So all 10 toes and knees are all facing the same direction. And we're going to unravel and transition to the opposite side of the mat, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. So just unraveling and unwinding the body. And again, take any upper body variation that feels really inviting for you. And then slowly release. We're going to come into Gomukhasana on the other side. So start to walk your hands over towards your right foot. Then we're going to pick up the heels, come on the balls of the feet so we can pivot and twist the feet. So they're facing the opposite edge of the mat we were just facing, and then come down to have a seat. So again, the knees are stacked one on top of the other, and take any variation, a fold, an upright, or a twist that feels really good for you in this practice today. And then slowly release. We're going to unwind again and come back to the opposite long edge in that wide-legged forward fold. So pushing off the pinky toe edges so you can spring back around and come into that wide-legged fold. From here, bend your knees generously And just kind of sway the upper body side to side. You can let your arms dangle, or you can hook the elbows with the hands. And slowly make each little sway smaller and smaller until you come back into stillness. Release your arms. Ball heel step your feet so you're about hip distance apart. Bend your knees generously and ragdoll roll yourself up to stand. And we're going to do a little bit of pranayama with some side body release. So step your left foot forward and your right leg back so you have this heel to arch alignment. And we're going to sit up in reverse warrior. But I want to show you where we're going first. So from this position, we're going to take a 5 count inhale to get into reverse warrior with that emphasis of stretching through the side body. We'll stay in the stretch for 5 counts. Then we'll take 8 counts to straighten the front leg and transition into triangle, but again with that side body release. So let that side body round and we'll stay for 2 breaths. So 5 counts to get backwards, 5 counts stay, 8 counts to tip forward, 2 counts stay. So go ahead and start with your heel to arch alignment. And then we'll breathe in for 5, 4, 3, 2, hold, 4, 3, 2, cartwheel into triangle, 8, 7, 6, take your time, 3, 2, hold, 1, 2, inhale, transition, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold, 4, 3, 2, 1, transition triangle, 7, 6, 5, 4, keep exhaling, hold, 2, 1, inhale, reverse warrior for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 8 counts as you transition into triangle. Again, noticing the hips and the side body and the breath as you move. Hold for 2. Let's take 2 more rounds here. 5 count inhale, 5 count hold, 8 count exhale. 1 more. 5 count inhale, 8 count exhale. And release. Come back up. Just pivot your feet so you're facing the back of your mat, and we'll jump right in. Bend the knee. 5 count inhale. 5 count hold. Really round that front body. 8 count exhale. 2 count hold. 5 count inhale. 8 count exhale. 2 count hold. 5 count inhale. 3 more rounds. 5 count hold. 8 count exhale. 2 count hold. 2 more rounds with your own counting, your own pace. The last one here. And release. Go ahead and come up to stand and just let your breath return to its natural rhythm. And notice how the sides of the body feel, how the body-mind connection feels after focusing on your pranayama. And we're going to come into an equal parts breathing inversion. So I'll give you a couple of options and you can choose what feels best for you. So a nice one might be dolphin pose. So if that's what you like, we'll come down towards the floor. You'll make sure the elbows are closer together than shoulders distance, tucking the toes under, letting the head come between the upper arm bones, and then lifting the hips and pressing equidistance with both forearms into the floor. If you want to go really luxurious with it and you'd rather not be on the arms, you can take an imitation of legs up a wall. So if you like that one, you'll just need a yoga block or a blanket, slide it underneath of your tailbone and the sacrum, and then let your legs come up into the sky. So you're still in an inversion here. And then if it's a part of your practice and you really want to go for it, headstand. Now I'm going to invite you, if you're working on headstand but not really quite comfortable, just to practice it at the wall, but see if you can keep the feet away from the wall throughout your practice. So with the pranayama, just equal parts breath, let it flow really natural, maybe a 4-count inhale, 4-count exhale, just letting go of that breath retention we practiced when we were flowing from reverse to triangle. So choose your inversion, and then we'll take a moment to get set up into it, and then we'll be here for a little bit of time, just focusing on that equal part breath and that spinal decompression. So choose your variation. And once you have your inversion, come to that equal parts breath. Releasing through the low back and through the spine. Decompressing through the hips. Take a couple more rounds of this equal parts breath. And then slowly release. Wherever you are, come into a child's pose, or if you took the legs up a wall, just hug the knees into the chest, releasing the block. And take a couple rounds of equal parts breath here. And then we're going to bring it onto our backs. Bring your blanket with you, just so it's going to be within arm's reach, but you can just kind of have it off to the side for a moment. We're going to finish with 2 spinal twists and then some alternate nostril breathing with a Brahmari breath. So whichever side you would like to start on and whatever supine twist you would like to take, I invite you to settle in there. So again, just releasing through the side body, through the spine. Just a gentle restorative twist. And then just as leisurely as you can, transition your supine twist to the other side. And take a few more breaths here. And then slowly come out of your twist. And we're going to stay supine, but here's where it might be really nice to have your blanket just to give the arm some support. So we're going to lean the head a little bit towards the left. So I'm going to invite you to take your blanket underneath the left arm. So the blanket is actually holding your arm up. So you don't have to hold your arm at your face, but the blanket will lift it up a little bit so you can just rest your arm. And lean your head a little bit towards the left. We're going to close off the left nostril. And we're going to do a Brahmari breath. And if Brahmari breath is new for you, it's like the bumblebee or the humming breath. So we'll take an inhale. Then as you exhale, we'll constrict the throat a little bit so you make that hum sound. For the remainder of the exhale. At the end of your exhale, take another deep breath in, and then the same thing. We'll do 5 rounds on the left and 5 rounds on the right. So when you're ready, go ahead and close off your left nostril. Take a nice deep breath in. And then Brahmari breath. One more round. After your 5th one, just take your blanket towards the right side so I can support your arm. And turn your head towards the right, and we'll go jump right into it, closing off the right nostril. Breathe in. 5 rounds. let that go. If you like, we'll come right into Shavasana. You can place the blanket underneath the head, giving the cervical spine a little bit of support. Let your breath just be natural and soothing. As Brahmari breath really helps restore and nourish the nervous system and helps it to relax. So hopefully that brought us down from our flow and into our Shavasana. I invite you to, without changing the breath, just witness it as an observer. So you can stay anchored in this present moment. Maybe counting the breath or simply just observing. Allowing yourself to melt deeper and deeper into this state of relaxation and surrender. If you have time to linger in your Shavasana, I invite you to stay exactly as you are. But if it's time to move on with your day, start to deepen your breath. Feeling the body getting lighter and lighter. Maybe inviting in gentle movement through the hands and feet if that feels okay. Maybe taking any movement or stretches that might feel really nourishing in this moment. And there's absolutely no rush, and however you would like to get there, we'll take our time and meet in a comfortable seated posture. But once there, let go of any little fidgets we might still be holding on to, and take a nice deep in-breath through the nose, and a relaxing out-breath through the mouth. Feel your body soften. Bringing your hands to heart, I want to thank you for sharing your practice time with me. I know how special that is, and I hope you feel nourished and cared for and connected with your body and mind. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have an amazing rest of your day, and until next time, be well.